Like the regular scheduled meeting of committee of the whole, November 4th, 2024. Words. First, I'd like to recognize that Councillor Fitzpatrick, our mayor, Pauline Scoop, city manager, and Councillor Oberdorfer are on Zoom, and Mayor Valentino.
And we have regrets from Councilor McIver.
And we have regrets from Councilor McIver. I want to recognize that we are in Treaty 5 territory, the traditional territory of the Swiatek Creek Nation and the homeland of the Métis, and that we are all treaty people. Call for approval of the agenda. Okay, no presentations. Thought we had. Community feedback. Feedback today. Going once. Going twice. That's it. She can no. And move on to committee reports. We'll start with the development report. Good
evening, everybody. So as always, I start my reports with a update on our ISIP projects. So I am very happy to say that we are completing our construction season for our road and water renewal projects for 2024. Our road project wrapped up on October 20th, and our water project wrapped up on October 18th. Before I get too far into the report, I want to take a minute to thank a lot of people. It was a very busy construction season. First of all, I'd like to thank the project team, Chris, Mike, Yash, and Clarence. I'd like to thank, where's he, across the table, Ian, for communications. We were sending as many communications as we could out through radio and social and door-to-door notices. So Ian, thanks for that. Public Works, our water and sewer team, Neil, Clarence, Dan, for coming out to assist when required. Maximum Hydro for assistance with streetlights. I'm very happy to say that all of the streetlights were back on for Halloween this year. We did not have to put in place any temporary power plants with lighting for Halloween. All of our streetlights were back up and running. And finally, last but not least, a big thank you to the residents of Thompson for your patience and understanding. It is a lot of work to get these projects through, and it is multi-year in phase. You'll get your roads dug up for water 1 year, and you gotta wait another year for paving. So again, thank you for your patience and understanding as we get through this work. As I did last year, I provide an update by the numbers for 2024 in total. I'm not gonna go line by line, but I will hit on a couple of highlights. For our road project, we have completed 10,000 meters of new road surface out of a total requirement of 20,000. So we are halfway there for our road service road renewal. We've installed 14,000 meters of curbing. That's 14 kilometers of new curbing, 3,000 meters of sidewalk, and just shy of a kilometer of multi-use pathways. We've got a fair bit of multi-use pathway left to do next spring on Westwood Drive, so that number will probably double, if not triple, next year. Moving on to water renewal, we've put in just over 2,000 meters or 2 kilometers of new water main with 112 services this year, and total overall 5.4 kilometers of water main and almost 2 kilometers of wastewater main, 1,914 meters, and total number of services of 354. Our ISIP requirements again are listed for the water, so we need to hit 13 kilometers and 3.3 kilometers of wastewater main, so we are well on our way. So again, the big construction season's done. Now we start to look forward to next year. Planning is already underway. The surveys and design are being done as we speak, and we'll be looking to start tendering. We've already got the 25 road renewal package awarded. It was a combination package in 2024, and we'll be doing the water project hopefully early in the new year. Our aquatic center, we had a big week for aquatic center. Lots of work going on. Temporary hydro is just about done, and there's a lot of forming and rebar getting done. I'll leave I'll leave it for the rec director for the big stuff. From a facilities perspective, we're undergoing our transition from, well, you look outside, it's raining, from summer to winter. We've been working on the carpenters have been working on the outdoor rinks. The carpenters along with Public Works pulled the docks last week. And we are currently right now working on getting preparations for Christmas lights up and prepared and getting our City Hall area prepped. Development, earlier on this year, we passed you passed a resolution to remove 6 of the trailers. I'm very happy to report that all 6 of those trailers in the Burger Trailer Court have been demolished. The yard's been cleaned and leveled, and that work has all been done. There's been a bunch of work underway at the Pusico site, clearing and grubbing. They've cleared and removed all the vegetation to allow for enhanced geotechnical and survey work. And from the development plan update, we did award through your resolution a couple weeks ago to HTFC, and we're working with them to get the final contracts in place. Permitting numbers are there from our chief building inspector, Dan Haywood. So year to date for 2024, we've issued 72 permits for a total construction value of $56 million. Last year at this time, we had 74 permits issued for a total of $27 million. So a little bit higher. Again, I think the big delta in that construction value right now is the fact that we're building a brand new pool. So that's the big number. And up to date to the end of October, Dan has completed 108 different inspections through the building code process. So this could be anything from foundations to framing to plumbing to everything in between. So the whole pile of inspections that goes on when Dan does his building permits. And then finally, I have the page of Danny's comparison table for building permits attached. Again, that's for your information. That's it for my report.
Thank you. You have any questions? Counselor Saul?
Thank you, thanks, Al, for that report. I'll just ask you a question that I think most around the table know, but since I'm new at this again, when we talk about 20 kilometers of road.
Yeah.
For the ICIP plan, just to give me an idea, how many internal roads kilometers do you have in Thompson?
How many total road kilometers?
Yeah. Just to have an idea.
Director, have that number at the top of his head, because I don't.
I don't remember now, 79,
Yeah, I was gonna say it's somewhere in the 70s.
or
10
77.
kilometers?
Yeah.
Okay,
Something.
okay, so it is 10 kilometers internal road. And this is, how many more years do we have? Do you have 2 more years?
We have 25, 26, and a little bit of 27. So about 2.5 construction seasons left.
Okay,
And the 20 kilometers, where the 20 kilometers came from, council, was when the submissions were placed to ICIP, and I believe it was 2018. That was the number that was put forward by the director at the time was 20 kilometers of roads with a $40 million budget.
okay. And so, based on the numbers, you're fully comfortable that everything's on track?
We do have some heavy roads left. We've got Hayes Road, which is gonna require a lot of work to get done. We've got Creek from Knife to Steel, which has got a bit of work, as well as some sections of Thompson Drive. So we've got some heavier roads left to complete.
So I assume when the roads were selected, and I'm just thinking about the water mains and sewer mains now. It makes sense to get those done at the same time when those roads are being done. For what you've seen, the mains that have been done, are they seen as the high needs ones based on what's been done so far?
So the roads that were selected and the water mains that were selected again were based on data that was provided in 2018. I don't have I wasn't here at the time. I understood it was based on areas of high break and high incident. I can say that I have seen pictures of some of the water lines that they've pulled, and they have been in very, very bad shape.
It's fair to say when you have the roads that have been selected, the age of them will probably align with also the age of those mains as well with high breaks. Because I know we're doing them since,
I would say so.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I just want to get straight in my head that I know we're doing the mains the same time as we're doing the roads, but I just wanted to see if they were roughly at the same condition as well, so. Okay, thank you.
Actually, help out there. A lot of times it isn't the oldest water mains. Sometimes it can be the in situ soil or the soil or the backfill that they use when they put it in. It could be under roads that freeze faster, or it could be corrosion from like the backfill. There's a lot of different factors, but I know that in 2018 it was we looked at the areas where the most frequent breaks and the breaks are. Deputy Mayor Valentino was next.
Thank you, Councillor Lundmark. Thanks for the report. My comment is, and maybe we've done this and I missed it, but if this is the construction season wrap up, can we do some media to the residents that this is the wrap up and what's happened? And if we've done that, I apologize, but if not, could we really put that out there? And even if we can start saying what's still to come, would be good. Thanks.
And Councillor Roberto.
Thank you. My question was about phase 3 and 4. In the report, it indicates that it's 40% complete, and my understanding, I'm just trying to remember, is that it wasn't supposed to be 100% complete, I believe, this year, but I just wanted clarification on whether that 40% means we're on schedule for that phase 3 and 4, or ahead or behind that, if you can get a clarification on that.
Absolutely. So if you can recall, phase 3 was Centennial East and Dominion Bay. Phase 4 was Centennial West and Confederation. That contract was not awarded until late July. So they were never planned to get it all done this year. They pretty much completed exactly what we figured they would. So they're on par. They will come back in the spring and finish the rest.
Thank you.
Oh, Councillor Wong.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks for the report. When do we go to get the financial part, which is budgeted for the project? Are we overrun or we underrun, or that when we will get those numbers?
I can look to get the presentations next month on that. I know for road, we're under budget right now. I don't have the exact number, but I can put that together for the next
Yeah,
meeting.
that would be appreciated if you can get that report present to us next meeting or after, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So right now, is it possible to also, like, for the public to understand? Because right now your number is just showing it's 2024 completed the meter. But what is the total at this moment? We already did that a couple of years, right? So what is the total altogether? The road?
It's there in the report. Yeah, so total project totals for road, we've done 10,000 meters. That's what we did. We did 5,000 meters this year, we did 5,000 meters last year, so we've done 10,000 meters total.
Okay, so it's
So that's the years combined. The
Okay.
project totals for both the road and the water in there.
final question is next year before we do the project, I would appreciate that if any changes, any modification, what street, and I would like to have that debate. Instead of just doing it and then come back, the public asks us about the choking road and all that. I have absolutely no idea, right? Thank you.
Councillor Salt.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention, I do want to thank your team as well. Due to the structure of Thompson and the circular areas of our neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I noticed how depending on what time of day things changed in regards to, where you could go and what you could turn off, and I know it took a lot of coordination, a lot of communication. And I think for the most part it went well, I mean, I'm sure there was some that, some.
There's a lot of heated discussions at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just, I always followed you, just the shape of Thompson made that work that had to be done, even more challenging, so. Good job on your team and also the contractors as well, so.
Thank you, Lyle. Is there anything else? Okay, move on to 6.2, recreation report.
So the rec complex, in the summer times, it is, not as busy. We've gotten quite a bit busy now with hockey returning and other seasonal supports that have, started up in the facility. We do still continue to offer after school programs for the individuals of all ages. We also have complimentary ping pong, that's available in the lobby. And that attracts a lot of people from the community and is used quite often. And I think there's up to sometimes up to 4 tables that are set up in the lobby, so it's used quite often. We have ice now, as mentioned previously, in both of the arenas. We do have public skating that has begun. It again is on weekends at the same time. And we've also started to introduce some daytime skating opportunities. We do have an ice plant operator in the building, so we thought that we should open up the ice to be used by people who might be home with their children, school children, or even at lunch hours. So we've got some time set aside for that. That's going to be consistent moving forward unless there's a booking for some of their facility or some of their organization in there. We've also updated our community list. We did have a community list years ago, and it was never kept up to date. So now we've updated a community contact list. So if anybody reaches out to us at the TRCC, we're able to give them the information. If someone's asking to go to hockey or gymnastics, we're able to give them the contact information. And we also have a QR code on there for easy access. So we're encouraging any organizations, if they don't see their name on our contact list, to contact us, and we'll make sure that that's put up there. The play structure has been a question that's been brought up quite often here in the committee meeting. We have listed on gov deals for bidding. The successful bidder will have to remove all of the equipment inside by November 30th. Give us time to be able to get the new, smaller, easier manageable equipment to put into that area. Neil was nice enough to put it on for us. So I'm not too sure. I know I've been viewing it, but I haven't viewed it today to see if, I know there's a lot of people viewing it. I think there's like 60 or something that were viewing it the last time I looked. So I'm hoping that we get somebody to bid on it. We've also been reviewing our fees and fine schedule. We're planning to bring that to council in the coming months. Once we get other city departments that they're also reviewing their schedules and things that they want to add or change in their fees and fines, we're going to bring it all together to council at one time, just to make it easier instead of having one-offs kind of come. So once everybody's done, we're going to bring that forward. We've also had a lot of inquiries about the Hall of Fame that's at the TRCC. Past inductions, there was a process, but that process was that anybody who was nominated, it would go to the rec committee. We no longer have a recreation committee there, so now we have to come up with a new formal process for that. So we're going to be working on that and hopefully have something, I'm hoping by next month, because I know there's 3 right now that have reached out to us that, so I would like to have nominations brought forward. So for programming for October, we did partner with the fire department this year. Again, we did it last year as well. So because of the low numbers at the fire department, they normally did go out to each school and do a presentation on Fire Prevention Month. But we held it at the TRCC in the gymnasium. And it went really well. The teachers liked it. We had a lot of schools that did attend games, or they had the safety bouncy house there as well. They gave out some coloring books and some stickers and different things for the children and talked about fire safety with them. So we're going to continue to do that every year. It just seems like it was just easier for the schools to come to us versus us to go to the schools. I don't know if everybody had the opportunity to take in our haunted house. This is the 3rd year that we posted a haunted house at the TRCC. The staff did a fantastic job putting it together again this year. They enjoyed doing it, which makes it even more fun to put things together. I believe this number is up a little bit, but we had well over 1,500 people attend. Great feedback, but it gets better every year, we've been told. We also offered to the school district. We did have it only open in the evenings, but I contacted the school district to see if they wanted their students to attend during the day on Halloween. And we did have, I think it was 4 or 5 different schools that invited their students. And we were fortunate enough that we had some free passes that were left over from, we had the MMF, TNRC, and MKO. They sponsored about 800 tickets in total between all of them. So they paid for the tickets, left them with us, and we gave out, we spread them over 5 days. So we did have enough left to be able to offer it to the school. I think we were probably about 25, 30 short, and we just let the school win, the last school that went in, and the teachers went in first and scared some teachers, so the kids were kind of not too sure if they wanted to go in after, so it was quite fun, so I think everybody enjoyed themselves. We also had a free skate, and we had trick or trunk in the parking lot at the TRCC. Again, we had tons of vehicles out there. We had roped off a section for people to have their vehicles there, and they had their candy in their trunks, and they were giving candy out to the kids. So a lot of people came, and they were dressed up in their costumes. And we also had a donation from Arctic Beverages. They gave us some potato chips for us to give out to the kids that attended our Halloween event. We're currently working, as Lyle had mentioned earlier, we're getting things ready for Christmas this year. We're putting up lights that we don't have to put up every year. So we're hoping that that will reduce the workload for next year. So they've got one section of City Hall done, the first layer. We're hoping with the weather, if it warms up, we're gonna be able to do the second layer of City Hall. And they've done down at the Clay Park, we fixed up lights that were broken down there, and they also put some on the stage today. So we're hoping that those things, we can change the lights out for any events that we have coming. They're multi-change colors, so we're hoping they'll last for quite a few years. And as Lyle mentioned, we had the opportunity on the 29th, which last Tuesday, to attend the grounds of the new aquatic center. That's the second time that I was actually on site, and we had a couple people from Stantec. They did their first pouring of their, it's not cement, but it's concrete. I put cement, apparently that's a product that goes in it, but it's concrete. So they poured the first bit of concrete there. And that was great to be a part of. I mean, this has been something that's been ongoing. I've been with it since the beginning when the pool closed down. So it was really nice to be on site. You can actually visually see where things are and where the deep end of the pool is going to be and where the water slide and stuff is going to be. So it was really nice to be a part of that. We are making arrangements for council to be able to go as well and to take a tour of the grounds in the coming weeks. It is quite mucky there right now, so we're hoping things can freeze up a little bit, so it'll be easier for you to walk the ground. So it was special to be able to be there for me, but glad let me share that. Oh, that's still my thunder. And we have some upcoming events for November. We have Remembrance Day that we're going to be partnering with Remembrance Day. They're going to be putting that up and setting everything up in the CA for that. The Swim North had their event, Craftsville event this past weekend, and we were happy to be able to leave up the Halloween haunted house for them so they could utilize that as well for fundraising. There's a meet bookshop coming up. We've got some candy box decorating. There's a few other ones that just got added recently, so we have a lot of events taking place in November as well. And that's it.
Thank you very much. Cool. Questions? Got Deputy Mayor Valentino has a question.
Thank you, Councillor Lundmark. I got 3 things about recreation to bring up. When we talk about the pool, are we starting to talk about lifeguards and all that kind of stuff? I noticed Flin Flon is starting their training and stuff, so I'm just wondering if we have or what our plan is on that.
Yes, we're actually, I did reach out to Life Saving Society last week about something else with the pool, but we're also going to talk to them about helping us and seeing how we can work with them, because we do know that, Slim Pond and I believe Gillum is working on their pool as well, so we're gonna see if we can do something northern, that we can train everybody, and at that point, we do have to hire a manager to help set that up. We do know that, we're hoping to have that started by, the beginning of the new year.
Okay, great, because I noticed Flin Flon was already saying that they're closed because they're doing pool training already, so that made me think of it. So the other question I have is about Live Barn in the TRCC. I'm wondering if we have looked into that or if we can get that. I've had many people ask and I've done some research. There's about 1,700 arenas now in Canada that have it. And if we're gonna host the Manitoba Games, we need to have that because everybody uses it. So I'm just wondering if where that's at or if we've looked into that.
Actually, Lyle sent an email today. That is something that we're gonna be meeting on, hopefully this week, him and I, to come up with a plan for that, yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
The service that was in the CNSBIT, which is Home Team Live, which was a sponsorship, which was a deal between the Keystone Junior Hockey League, which the NCM Flames play for. That's no longer, so Home Team Live actually reached out to me last week. They're gonna pull their camera out. So that's where the conversation came from, is which way we want to go now.
okay, great. I'm glad to hear that we're gonna look at Live Barn. My third thing is about the Hall of Fame. And I know that we talked about that too in passing. So I thought about that a little bit more, and through the Truth and Reconciliation, the calls to action, there is a requirement for sport. So I'm wondering if we should do a call out to some of our Indigenous partners to see if there's a call out for any Indigenous athletes from Thompson that we should be recognizing. That's in the spirit of Truth and Reconciliation on our side. And also some arenas, I think it's Brandon, they have identified for September 30th, they actually have an orange seat in their recreation complex. And I'm wondering if that's something we can discuss as a council, or if that's something that we would look at doing also as a part of our Truth and Reconciliation.
Good. Was there a specific question that you
Nope,
want?
those are just my comments on something, maybe that things that we can look to do if we
Yeah.
want to, or was this some thoughts? Because I was thinking about the whole Hall of Fame thing, because Sonia and I had talked about it also.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other questions for recreation? Oh, Councilor Thought, sorry.
Thank you. I have one question, but first I'll start with some comments, especially with Christmas around the corner. I will say that the rec department does a fantastic job of getting that TRCC decorated. I've seen lots of people who actually come there to take pictures because of all the different decorations that are in there. I know once that pool is finished, and I know we still have a slower summer with the use of that facility, but I can envision, especially if they're changing demographics and that pool, I could see that being well used in the summertime. It's gonna come our way. So it's good to see that we're ramping that up. Based on when I was on council last time, it's like night and day, the use of that facility. So hats off to you guys for that. The one question I had is kind of related to what Cass was talking about. I'm not a tech person, but so excuse this question here, but I noticed with the internet, and especially with the pool being built, is there discussions on getting that higher, better quality internet in that building? I know at times, and I've heard it a few times, especially during hockey season. But I think it goes for year round. It could also be seen as a safety issue as well. Where at times if you need to make a quick call or something, is there any discussions on getting that internet, up, better quality? Or accessibility?
Yeah.
These are techie guys, so.
Yeah,
We've taken a look at it, we're kind of trying to put a parcel together that allows us to be expandable in the future. I know that's something that I think with Winter Games coming, we'll have to have something more robust in place for Winter Games, so yes, it is on our radar.
okay, good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Council Wong?
Thank you, Sonia, for that report. Earlier, when you mentioned the table tennis, you have 4 tables there now?
I think there was 4 players that were gonna be right there. I don't think we'll one from the back, because we did have 2, that we were using.
My question to you, I appreciate that you're still keeping there and let them play. My question to you, will it be eventually going to be a problem because of the lobby that you guys using it? Will it be crowded when you say there's more and more people playing? Will it be a concern down the road?
They're pretty respectful right now. I mean, they know if there's some events going on, like they'll put out X amount, maybe just put out 2 tables, so the players are aware of the amount of people that come there. They've also purchased on their own,
Net,
the little nets, yeah, that stop the balls from kind of going down into the concession. Now, sometimes they do bounce over into the concession, but they've also purchased those nets to stop that. So right now, I don't think there is. I mean, obviously, yeah, we're having a big event there. They wouldn't be able to put the tables out. But at that point, I think if the gym is not being used, there would be no use that could put them into the gym or even put them into the NPR that they could use that as well if they're not being rented. But right now, they use the lobby and for sleeping in the property.
great to hear that. Because when you say there's overwhelming, people start using a lot, I worry about the concession might disturb the business from them or the staff or whatever, maybe. Because that time, I think there was just a temporary solution to have the table there. Since it's become famous and getting more and more, eventually we might have to look for something that can be a permanent, so it's not going to take up the space for whatever the purpose and whatever the usage for. So, anyway, appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Director Wiseman. And we'll go to Public Works. Director. Yes.
Good evening. I have to first off apologize. My copy and paste scheme was not on point. So the report that I ended up sending to Tammy, only half of it is this month's, and the other half was from last month. So the utility side of it is this month's report. So the first half was actually from last month. I apologize for that. So I'll kind of go through it to give you a rundown of what the report did say. So currently right now we are still fixing potholes. With this freeze thaw cycle that we're getting, the potholes continue to appear and reappear. The bad weather doesn't help either, so we will continue until we can't. Daniel, our outdoor area tenant, is still working. Speaking with him, he's willing to work until he can't push his cart. He had a little scare there a couple weeks ago, but he can still push it, so he says he's still all right. So we keep checking on him every day just to make sure. All of our winter maintenance equipment is serviced and ready to go, our graders, loaders, trucks, snowblowers, etc. So we are ready for winter, and hopefully it doesn't come for some time, but we are ready for whenever it does happen. Our sander, unfortunately, we did have to send out there a couple of times this past month. Streets just needed it. I thought they needed to be going out again, but luckily enough, the weather cooperated and stayed, didn't freeze for us. The Juniper Park project actually has been completed. Obviously, we're not going to be putting water to the splash park, but we will do that in the springtime. But the playground play structure is completed. Warranty will not commence until it is commissioned in the spring. However, if there is vandalism or anything like that that happens that is beyond the control of the manufacturer or the supplier, that kind of will following us, so hoping everyone is respectful to that new play structure and, keeps it working right. It is a great play structure. I think it's gonna be awesome and it's a great location, so hopefully it's well used. Our crews will be working at, leveling off the outdoor rinks and getting them prepared for whenever the cold weather starts, that we can actually get flooding and getting our outdoor rinks, on the go. Our money and trail maintenance continues. There's been a lot of down trees on that trail. A lot of them look like they have actually been cut and they've fell across the trail and then just left. So our crews been out there trying to move them out of the way at least, so. Don't know if they're cutting trees, I don't know why they're not taking them away, but they're dropping them right across the trail and kind of impeding everybody else. So we're trying to clean that up for everybody as well. Once the ground does firm up, we will be going into the cross-country ski trails. To do some brush cutting and clearing there, a lot of willows that grow up, but it is a marshy type of musky land, so we need it to firm up and freeze up as best as possible to get our crew in their equipment, and they also have to walk through it as well, so. All of our top lots and everything are kind of put away for the winter, we clean them up as we can. All the tennis court nets have been put away, all the roofs from the jump start park have been put away for the winter time as well. Our compost site is technically closed as of October 31st. However, we did leave it open because you can still see the ground, people are still cleaning up leaves. We showed up to work today with 40 garbage bags full, just dumped there on us, not even in the dumpster. And then a pile of brush beside it, so. Using it, please use the dumpsters that are provided, so our staff doesn't have to go through and rip open every single bag, but we're gonna leave it open as long as the weather cooperates. There's no reason why we can't. As long as people are using it and respecting it, it's there for use. Obviously, our spot parks are shut down winterized, and then our cemetery expansion project will continue once the ground firms up a little bit more. Get our excavator in there. We have some more brush to remove, some grubbing work to do, and I know at some point in time we'll have to do a tour with council just to show the expansion project of the cemetery and the cemetery itself. Waste disposal grounds is now operating under the winter schedule. We are now Monday to Friday, 8 AM to 5:30 PM. The household hazardous waste depot is open Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's free to drop off any paints, light bulbs, oils, batteries, e-waste from residents. We are as well working on our clay capping program. Every 21 days, we have to cap our household garbage itself. So we're working on that, hauling clay daily from behind the French school up to the landfill and capping our household garbage. We did have an issue this last month with a contractor that dropped off, tried to dispose of material that actually ended up being asbestos. So we worked with workplace health and safety and our environmental officers from conservation, and is now being dealt with. That contractor will be hauling it away and hauling it down south, but I don't believe it was fully intentional. I think there was some mistakes that were made that people didn't realize, so. And it was luckily enough, our supervisor of our landfill caught it whenever it was disposed of, and we were able to action as quickly as we possibly can. So for the water and sewer department, you see that our numbers are listed there for the month of October. Our ongoing repairs it's an ongoing list as always. But our repairs are completed. We're continuing to work on hydrants as well. The weather's cooperating for us perfectly right now to work on hydrants. Any curb stops, valves, manholes, catch basins. That were in the capital project areas, and any shut-off valves for capital works. For the water treatment plant, we are in the midst still of some software upgrades that we're getting for our reporting software for our drinking water officer. We're switching over to a new software that's provided by Schneider, the same company that provides our SCADA hardware, software, whatever you want to call it, for the water plant. And as well for the wastewater plant, we're currently working on basin 2 is being drained. There's some broken pipes within there, so we have to drain it down. Working on some broken pipes. And then once that basin is completed, we'll be working towards basin 1. I believe there's some broken pipes in there as well. So as we are working, we are taking a whole bunch of pictures and sending them off to the water service board for review.
Thank you very much. Is there any questions? Councilor Slaw?
Yes, thank you. Just one question, but, before I ask that, I happened to run into Daniel not too long ago, and I did have a chat with him. I think he started back in 2006, 2007. And, he's probably one of our best, visible, see him in downtown all the time. So hats off to him. I didn't dawn on me, it's been that long, he's been in Mississippi now. Question for you, in regards to the corporate trade show, I had, a couple residents show me some pictures of just these, great drainages in there, especially in front of some of their houses, and it looks like a little lake. What's the plan for that area?
That would be a major capital plan for, there's, if you're talking Pipe Road, there's no drainage on Pipe Road, there's no catch basins. The city of Thompson could fix our roads, but if individuals don't raise their own properties, our roads are just gonna drain into the properties. So properties need to be built up is the biggest issue over there. That whole trail court needs a full gravel program, and I'm hoping to, during budget season, try to talk about that, to see if there's a way to incorporate a gravel program or align them in our operating budget to have an actual gravel program for roads that are not paved, because trail court's not the only one, across the bridge is as well.
Yeah, but it would be an ongoing issue.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't boil down to that, right? How to try and shape the water away from those low areas.
Yeah.
Okay. I know we had a study done years ago about irrigation there. And, I know, that was done a long time ago. Did anything come of that?
I was not part of that report at all. I know that there was some drainage work done on possible logging. The back end that backs off the Thompson Drive, 5-6 years ago, thereabouts. I'm guessing, I don't know more than that piece. But that's as far as I know about it.
So the plan would be to look at some of the more higher needs area in regards to a gravel plan.
That would be for fixing the road wise itself, because those roads are in terrible shape as well. There's next to no material other than clay left on there, so. To have a gravel program to actually build the roads up where they need to be, it wouldn't happen overnight. 1 year we even wouldn't do it, so I think it would be an ongoing program that we have to look at establishing, but. That's still not gonna fix. For example, Pipe Road, that's not gonna fix the issue, because we continue to raise our road and fix it and bring it to the level it needs to be. Residents' properties are gonna have to be raised as well, and have to be on the resident to raise their own property up. It could be, even right now, the properties are lower than what the existing road is, and that's why the water's cools down. It'd be I think it's a bigger capital project discussion, I think, for, and then fix for that, so.
Before you go, Oswald, 1 second, the city manager, Anthony, do you have something to add there?
Yes, the councillor had asked if work had been done in the past. There had been work done by the development officer. I think, the development officer prior to Lyle. What I think they found is some of it was successful, but there's a few areas they actually had to abandon the work. It was engineered, and when they started to do the install, they actually started to see like underground streams, and they couldn't complete the work, so the work had to be abandoned.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess just one last comment. I guess at the end of the day, we want all residents of Thompson to have the same level of service. And I do understand that the old trail area has its challenges. You know, I know it's been well documented over the years, but at the end of the day, I think we have to find ways to make sure that every area there is being treated the same way. I'm not too sure if I'm there when it says that property owners need to raise their property. I mean, this has been an issue for a long time, so I think we need to talk more about, but we need to have a standard that every property. That there needs to be a standard for every top site. You know, when having a large, small little lake along houses is just not a thing. But thank you.
Councilor Wong.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the report, Neil. When do you think we're gonna get the actual those? Remember last time I asked the question about the water break, how long and all that. Anthony explained that you guys already have the program start inputting the data. So when that will be matured, so we can see that kind of a report. When you think that will be estimated? You know what I'm talking about, right? Last time I asked the question.
Yeah, it's kind of like the timeline from report to repair, I think is what you're talking about, and how many we've repaired and all that kind of.
Yeah, they say you can go online, you can see when this water break occurred.
Yeah.
When they repair, how long the time frame, so we can see it without asking questions now, after.
Right, it would be a report provided.
Yeah, so is that program will be live eventually? Or when is the time frame?
Right now, we're at the. We have to get the technology in, so a lot of the work in the field with Counselor relates to our supervisors and our technical people having the right tools, i.e. this, to be able to make it work. So we're doing the orders for all of this technology, and then we're gonna do training. The program itself is pretty much ready to go. It's just a matter of getting everyone trained to do it.
Any plan?
Hopefully in the next couple of months, as soon as we get the technology in, and get it, start to get people using it, that's the plan.
Thanks. Before we get there, so I have a question for this report. I try to understand this report. I compared the 2 months report that Neil you provide to us. I use the ongoing work as an example. So last month you showed that the water main break is 2. So September report you showed there's a 2 water main repair. But in October you showed 2 as well. So my question is that the 2 the same 2 or there's 2 more after that?
On the board currently, so I haven't repaired it.
Huh?
Ongoing work is just what's on our board needing to be done,
So that means that 2 water main is the same 2 water main,
different too.
different 2.
If you look, we already repaired 4 water mains this month, 5 service breaks this month, 2 hydrant repairs, 2 sanitary main repairs. 1 storm main repair in October, that's new, those are new ones.
So, okay, sorry, may I continue? So if you, that's how you explain, so let's say the hydrant repair. You have 6 in September, you have 10 October. So that means 16 altogether.
And new ones, yeah.
But your summary in only show 10 total. So why is it 16? So I kind of,
I don't know, I'll have to ask my assistant director who provided.
because you show 6 in September.
Yeah.
But you show 10, so I try to understand, is that means you have 4 more extra in October, so become 10? Or that's a separate 10, a new one? But if I refer back to the chart. You show total 10, you break it down, April you got 3, May you got 2. And then October you got 2, and then September got 1. So that's why I try to see ongoing, does that mean? It just occur, we need to take care of it, or already repair, or what, you know what I mean, like that kind of thing.
Our ongoing work is what's currently on our board right now that needs to be done. That's what we got.
So in the chart is already repaired. The one on top, the chart is already repaired.
One on top of the ones that have already been completed. Yes.
Thank you.
And then, sorry, and then you said your crew is all ready to go for winter. Like all the operator, you got all the operator.
No, I said our equipment is all ready to go.
Do you have enough?
We're short equipment operators, that's right.
What do you have now? So
I have 5 number 1 operators, I got 6 number 2 operators, and I got 4 number 3 operators. I got 3 labels.
what actually do you need for us? Number one?
7, 6.
I think those need to be let the public aware of, otherwise they don't know, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
If they don't know, then they just create a question, right? Anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, move on to 7, finance, and we get to Taylor.
Thank you.
Chief Financial Officer with a memo.
I did provide a confidential memo to council members over the weekend, along with, the one attachment that, gave the, details of the, property ownership for the first item in my memo. We have a company in Thompson that owns 9 different apartment blocks, 1 industrial property and 1 single family rental unit. The principal owner of these properties passed away 4 years ago, and the son has been named the executor. It's been a difficult long haul for him to get to the current status where he has been able to obtain investment monies, which in the spring I worked really closely with him and consultants in being able to redeem the properties from the 2024 tax sale. There's the current taxes are owing, but there were utilities transferred to the majority of these properties in May when there were 2 years of utilities that were transferred. So I met last week with the owner and the new corporation that is assisting in all of the finances in order and ensuring that the renovations are done to these apartment blocks so that they can be put on the market again for some of them. One of the problems that's occurred is that the investors who have agreed to pay the taxes are really concerned that with the transfer of the utilities to the middle. And they have requested that be transferred back to the utility accounts plus the penalties that have been charged. So that they can start to enter legal and binding agreement to pay these arrears off in the next year. That includes the agreement would also include the current utilities that have been incurred since December of last year. When I prepared this documentation, I prepared it for the meeting that I had with these gentlemen. But since that time, they came in and they were able to pay down 59% of the amount that's outstanding as utility accounts. So their request is that council consider transferring the utilities from the tax roll back into the utility system, and that we enter into an agreement for payment, all of which, because the utilities were transferred to the roll by a resolution of council. It's my opinion that we can do that, is to transfer it back with the resolution of council. So that's the first item. Ask questions during each one, or do you want to just go through them?
I think it might be best to keep it separate, so let's ask the questions on this one first, please. Does anybody have any questions on this issue? Councilor Saab?
Thank you. I'm trying to, well, first of all, I think we've never done this before, right? Transfer back.
No.
So this will set a precedent for something else down the road, and anyone does something like this. Like how much does this encompass if it just was done?
I think there's still a guarantee that they're going to pay the arrears and plus any county settlement fund. I see the legal document that we would enter into for payment. Would still leave the opportunity open to have those arrears immediately transferred back to the tax roll if they should not fulfill the obligations. The agreements that people have made with me regarding the redeeming their properties from tax sale are very, very clear that they have to keep their utility payments up to date, current ones, the ones that haven't been. We can't go into arrears of any account that they have with the city that would potentially be transferred to the tax roll as long as that agreement is yes. So I can see the same type of arrangement being made on this transfer. Very cumbersome. I guess in my mind, I was coming from the perspective that the housing market is very short and work that they're doing on these apartments to get them ready for rental again is very extensive. So it does leave anything we do leaves other people open to come and try and become the same proposal. You have to deal with it.
Okay, Mary Sue?
Yeah, I'm glad to hear we're dealing on cases, case by case basis. And if the chief financial officer feels supportive of this, I'm in agreement with her. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? Councilor Wall?
Thank you for this, and, I carefully read your comment or your statement. So basically, the consulting company will not cover the utility. So we jeopardize all the finalize all this issue for that, right? So that's why they request for such a way to do this, and then they will commit to pay down the owing of the utility separately. So
That's correct. It's not the consultants that are demanding that the utilities off the road. It's the mortgage holders.
I personally, I don't see a reason not to support this. And as long as they enter the agreement to. We have so many examples to. So I think that's pretty much is normal now. Because of the situation in Thompson, so I don't want to see these people get so stranded with this kind of arrangement that they can do. Or possible to get it done. Because of us to make it kind of like a roadblock for them, so. Yeah, I can see, I no problem with that arrangement, thank you.
City manager?
I would just raise my only concern would be that the request made by the property is not in keeping with the accounts receivable policy, but I'd need the CFO to confirm or not if this request is in keeping, where it also outlines which times changes can be made. But I have to defer to the CFO.
The only flexibility that I have is if I discovered that we had made an error. When the original accounts were added to the tax roll, and we discovered that there hadn't been the meter hadn't been reading for quite a while, and we did an investigation and went in and found that the meter had ceased working. And that the accounts should not have been transferred to the roll, then then I do have the authority to transfer, to cancel that and transfer it back to utilities so that we can do the initial cancellation through the utility account rather than the taxes. The cancellations on the tax roll, specifically affect the tax base, because if we don't have enough money in the tax reserve to cover all the cancellations, then we have to levy for that in the following year. So the only way that this would be managed is by approval for a direct transfer back to you.
That wasn't the case though, right? It's an example.
No, this is, I can't transfer back because it wasn't.
Right. So it'd be by resolution at the next council meeting. Okay, do we have a consensus on that? Go forward with that recommendation? See your hands?
No.
Okay. Need your hand as well. Thank you. Okay, so let's go to part two.
Number two is similar request, but it's a difficult one. It's where the owner of the property had a utility bill for their tenant who didn't pay the bill in over a year, added to the property taxes. She was really upset with the tenant. The tenant has phoned me about a month or maybe 5 weeks ago and said, look, I really want to enter into a payment arrangement to get this cleared off because my landlord is a nice lady and so on. The landlord is afraid that if the utilities stay on the road and he remains on the deal, then she's going to be liable to go into tax in future years. The problem that I have is the gentleman has made a couple of promises, but he's never followed through with them. He's never made payment in 2.5 years on the utility accounts. And even coming in to arrange to tell me how much he could afford to pay every month so that we could do a payment agreement, that hasn't come through. We have had in the past several landlords who have been in who've been really angry because their tenants signed the bills go so far, but everyone receives a copy of the utility. So it's I want to call it a chicken and egg thing, but it's kind of like their tenants, they should be on top of it with regard to making sure they're paying their utility bills, because at the end of the day, it is causing a problem for them against transfer taxes. This again is before you for discussion and some direction.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Valentino.
Thank you, Councillor Lundmark. Absolutely the comment that the property owner is receiving copies of the utility billings through this process. Definitely, I understand the comments then about you being hesitant to proceed. So I'm fine with this staying as is, because it is also the responsibility of the property owner to see those bills and to do action. So I understand the hesitancy from the department, and I'll support that it stays as is.
Thank you. City Manager.
Yeah, again, council, this is my concern is that this request is not in keeping with your policy. So going against the policy creates issues without reviewing the policy as a whole.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Okay, sorry, Councilor Overdorf.
Thank you. I was just gonna ask if these are being brought forward at council next week. Can the policy be included as a part of our package?
Yeah, we'll ensure that Counselor, that the policy is attached. The policy is also available on our website, but we'll have that sent out so that everyone can see. It is policy ADM FIN 4.0, which is the accounts receivable policy.
Thank you. Do we need to have a consensus on this going forward to not be? Doesn't seem like we need to make any changes if we're looking at not changing it. Do we have consensus that this won't go forward? I guess. Like, okay. Is that all we need? Is that the end of it then? Is that enough direction?
Yes, Chair, if it's not to go forward, then it doesn't require any sort of resolution.
Okay, we have consensus not to. Okay. Number 3.
Number 3 is, I have to admit, I'm a little tardy in getting this before you. I met with the landlord of property on Brandwood, who is quite upset with the fact that in 2021, the city would bring in and do cleanup of this property. At the end of the day, there was a bill sent to her for this cleanup of almost $5,000. It's my understanding, because I wasn't here at the time, that the landlady disagreed, and her husband, who was on the property, disagreed with the amount of money that they were being charged. And at the time, I believe that with the finance committee, or the finance committee reviewed it, and it was denied. In speaking with this lady, she feels that she hasn't been given a proper audience so that her concerns can be brought forward. And this has caused some problems with this amount of money being on her tax roll. They have paid their taxes, their current taxes every year on time since that time, and even before that time. But our accounting policies take the payments that are made and they apply it to the arrears, any arrears that you want. So gradually it's paying off some of that, but it looks like the current taxes are in arrears. And when you count, basically, I think that this couple would desire and an audience with the whole of council so that they can be the case and we can come to a decision once and for all. I'm really sorry, but I can't locate a file on this. I checked with downstairs in the inspections department because they have files on when they issue orders for cleanup and so on. And my assistant and I've spoken to the city manager about it, and they do remember the case, but I can't find the file. So I don't have any documentation to prove with pictures or anything, but I'm sure owners of property about pictures. And so basically the request at this point is that they be allowed to come before the whole of council as about an audience and concerns.
Questions? Councilor Shaw. Thank you, Councilor Lama.
I know the water utility, you can go to the property tax, right? But this, we pick up garbage or something like that, are we allowed to roll into, do we have a resolution to roll into the property tax?
Yes, Anthony, the authority under the bylaw for cleanup on properties is already paid, it's not paid, when within the time limit. It's always been automatically added to the tax roll. Within, after they send out a 90-day letter giving the people, an opportunity to go. That's not usually done by resolution. Just under the bylaw, there's the authority to add it.
Chair, if I could address that question as well. Yeah, this is also covered under the accounts receivable policy. Because the cleanup is attached to a property, the charges are lienable, which means that the charges can go towards the property owner's taxes. And that's all outlined in the same policy that was referred to earlier that we'll be sending around for council's review.
So Mayor first. Mayor first.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yep.
Okay, my phone has just done some tricky things. Yeah, I met with this lady a couple of years after the incident, and we had gone over what had been done there. And basically it had come back to finance, and we were in agreement that they had been given adequate notice, like numerous times, to clean up. And that is, they didn't get upset till after the fact and that they received the bill. So I'm fine with leaving it the way it is. Thank you.
Counselor Song.
Thank you. Mayor Smoke answered some of the questions I was gonna ask. There's more in regards to process more than anything else. And I would assume that the finance committee reviewed the invoice. I assume there is an invoice. I know it's I'm trying to find the actual file right now, but I assume there was an invoice that showed what the work was done at what rate and so we will have substantiation of the invoice back then. And in regards to process, in regards to notice that was given a heads up saying this is gonna happen unless you do this. So I'm just going with that assumption, even though I know we're saying we're having some issues with trying to find the actual file. It's just that I've been to court a lot in my prior job when I was taking people to court for outstanding loans, and I know that we have to make sure that we have all of our
Chair, if I could respond to that as well.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd recommend council that we take this to an in-camera so we can all review the information. Some of the discussions were held under a previous council. And for people to be fully informed, it's probably best to have this as a new review to ensure what documents we do have in place and what we don't have in place so that you can make an informed decision.
Absolutely. Deputy Mayor, you're done. That answered or spoke to what you were going to ask. Okay. Are we good? Can we have a consensus to take that to in camera at a later date at the next committee of the whole, I imagine? Is that good? Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, so we December then, right?
Next committee of the whole would be in 2 weeks, right?
Next one's cancel, right?
No.
All right. Good, 2 weeks. Okay. Thank you, Lynn. Was that all?
That's it.
Was that all? No, sorry. Didn't mean to minimize that. Okay, moving on to 8, legislative. We have a memo.
Sure, I can walk you through that. Council members will be attending the annual AMM conference from November 24th to 27th. Due to this commitment, there will be a lack of quorum on the November 25th regular meeting of council. So there will be no meeting. Any business going forth on November 18th, which is a committee of the whole, will be deferred to the regular meeting of council scheduled for December 9th.
Thank you.
So that's just for your information.
Okay, and wait, two. Was that the same?
No, 8.2 is the 2025 council schedule. And just a few things to note is that the AMM Spring Convention is April 14th to the 16th. There may be counselors attending that conference, so there may be it might impact the April 14th meeting. The FCM conference is on May 29th to June 1st. That may impact the June 2nd meeting, and then the AMM Fall Convention is November 25th to the 27th, so November 24th meeting could be impacted. We won't know for sure until the names come forward on who's attending those events. But. Yeah.
Thank you. So we don't. All right,
And if I could just add one thing, this will be coming forth in December for approval.
thank you. Is there any other comments for today? Okay, so we call for adjournment, somebody, Councilor Wall and Councilor Orbidover. Second that, all in favor? All right. You adjourn. Thanks, everybody.